Have you ever pondered the extraordinary circumstances surrounding the birth of Moses? This is a tale of courage, compassion, and destiny, woven together in the fabric of ancient history. In a time of great strife, a man from the tribe of Levi married a Levite woman and she bore a son. Recognizing the child's fine qualities, she defied the decree of Pharaoh, hiding her son for 3 long months. But as the child grew, her ability to keep him concealed dwindled. She fashioned a basket out of papyrus, coating it with tar and pitch, making it a tiny ark for her precious cargo. She then placed her son in the basket and set it adrift among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. The child's sister, a young girl of courage and resourcefulness, stood at a distance, her eyes never leaving the basket, watching over her baby brother, ready to act when the moment demanded. Meanwhile, Pharaoh's daughter, a woman of high status yet not devoid of compassion, came down to the Nile to bathe. As her attendant strolled along the riverbank, she noticed the basket among the reeds. Intrigued, she sent her slave to retrieve it. When she opened the basket, she saw the crying baby and felt a surge of pity. "This is one of the Hebrew babies," she acknowledged. Then the baby's sister, seizing the opportunity, approached Pharaoh's daughter, offering to find a Hebrew woman to nurse the baby. Pharaoh's daughter agreed, and in a twist of divine irony, the girl brought the baby's own mother. The woman was instructed to nurse the child, and she was even paid to do so. When the child grew older, he was brought back to Pharaoh's daughter, becoming her adopted son. She named him Moses, meaning, "I drew him out of the water." This marked the beginning of an extraordinary life journey for Moses, a child born in secret, now adopted by royalty, unknowingly setting the stage for a remarkable journey. What happens when a Hebrew child grows up in an Egyptian palace? Let's delve into this unique upbringing. Moses, born a Hebrew, was raised in the opulence of the Egyptian royal palace. As he grew, he was groomed in the ways of the court, learning the arts of diplomacy, leadership, and warfare. He was educated by the finest tutors Egypt had to offer, mastering hieroglyphics and the sciences. However, his inner world was a whirlwind of emotions and questions, a testament to the dichotomy of his existence. Despite the grandeur of his surroundings, Moses was not oblivious to his origins. He was keenly aware of his Hebrew roots, a secret that whispered in the corners of the grand palace. This knowledge came to him not just from his biological mother, who had the privilege to nurse him in his infancy, but also through the silent, knowing glances of the Hebrew slaves who served in the palace. The burden of this secret was a constant companion, a reminder of his dual identity. As Moses matured, this internal conflict only intensified. He was an Egyptian prince by day, surrounded by luxury and power, yet he couldn't ignore the cries of his people, the Hebrews, echoing through the night. He saw the stark contrast between his privileged life and the hardship endured by his brethren. The palace walls could not shield him from the truth of their suffering. His heart ached as he grappled with the disparity between his two worlds. The opulence of the palace was a far cry from the harsh reality of life as a Hebrew slave. The gold and fine linen of his royal attire served as a stark contrast to the dust-covered clothing of his people. His days were filled with lessons and feasts, while theirs were consumed by hard labor and meager rations. In the quiet moments, Moses wrestled with his conscience. He was tormented by the knowledge that he was living a life of privilege while his people suffered. This inner turmoil would ultimately set the stage for his destiny. A man torn between two identities, Moses' struggle was only beginning. What could lead a man of royalty to abandon his life and flee? Let's explore this turning point in Moses' life. Imagine a day like any other. Moses, now grown and accustomed to life in the palace, ventures out to witness the toil of his people. He observes an Egyptian, perhaps a taskmaster, brutally beating a Hebrew. Rage boils within Moses. He looks around, sees no one, and in a moment of heated passion he kills the Egyptian, burying him in the sand. But secrets, like the tide, have a way of revealing what's hidden. The very next day, Moses finds 2 Hebrews engaged in a quarrel. In his attempt to mediate, he's met with a scornful retort. "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" A chilling fear grips Moses. His secret is out. When Pharaoh hears of this act, his reaction is swift and severe. He seeks to kill Moses. But Moses, once a prince, now a fugitive, escapes. He leaves behind the grandeur of Egypt, the comfort of the palace, and flees to Midian. In Midian, a chance encounter by a well changes the course of his life once more. He meets the 7 daughters of Reuel, who are being driven away from the well by shepherds. Moses, ever the defender of the weak, stands up for them, drives the shepherds away, and even helps water their flock. His act of kindness doesn't go unnoticed. When the girls recount the incident to their father, Reuel, he invites Moses into his home. Moses, the Egyptian prince turned Midianite shepherd, finds refuge in this foreign land. He agrees to stay with Reuel, who gives him his daughter Zipporah in marriage. From prince to fugitive to shepherd, Moses' life took a dramatic turn. But as we'll see, this was merely the beginning of his extraordinary journey. What does it mean to be a foreigner in a foreign land? Let's reflect on Moses' life in Midian. Imagine yourself in Moses' sandals. An Egyptian prince turned fugitive, he finds himself in the land of Midian, far from the grandeur of Pharaoh's palace. This is a life of simplicity and labor, a stark contrast to the opulence he once knew. In Midian, Moses is an outsider, a foreigner, yet it's here in this foreign land that he finds acceptance and love. He meets Zipporah, the daughter of a Midianite priest, a woman who becomes his lifeline in this strange place. Their marriage is a testament to Moses' adaptability and his ability to embrace change. The birth of Moses' son, Gershom, is a pivotal moment in his life. It's a beautiful paradox. Even as Moses names his son Gershom, saying, "I have become a foreigner in a foreign land," he is also acknowledging that this foreign land has become his home. Gershom, in essence, becomes a symbol of Moses' journey, a journey of transition, of finding one's place amidst uncertainty. Moses' life in Midian isn't marked by great miracles or divine revelations, yet it's a crucial chapter in his story. It's a time of growth and preparation, a period of learning and unlearning. Moses, the Egyptian prince, becomes Moses, the Midianite shepherd. He learns to lead a flock, a skill that would later prove invaluable when he leads the Israelites out of Egypt. His struggles aren't insignificant. He grapples with his identity, wrestles with his past, and navigates the challenges of a new culture and lifestyle. But it's through these struggles that Moses is shaped and molded, prepared for the mission that lies ahead. In a land not his own, Moses found a home and a family, unaware of the mission that awaited him. Can cries of despair reach the heavens? Let's see how the plight of the Israelites moved God to action. As the years rolled on, the Israelites found themselves in the throes of a bitter and harsh existence. The once prosperous and free people were now shackled by the iron chains of slavery in Egypt. Their lives were filled with relentless toil, their spirits crushed under the relentless whip of their taskmasters. Every day was a struggle, every night a prayer for deliverance. Their sorrow was not silent but a loud and heart-wrenching cry. They called out to God, their voices echoing in the vast desert, bouncing off the stone walls of their confinement, piercing the veil between earth and heaven. Their pleas were not just words but a deep groaning, a raw expression of their suffering. But here's the thing about cries. They don't fall on deaf ears, not when those ears belong to God. The Israelites' cries of despair and pleas for help reached the heavens, and they did not go unnoticed. God heard their groaning, their cries of despair echoing in his divine ears. He remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. A covenant that promised the Israelites a land flowing with milk and honey, a place of prosperity and peace. Their suffering was not forgotten, their cries did not go unanswered. God looked upon the Israelites, his people, with concern. Their suffering moved his divine heart. He saw their plight, their desperate situation, and he was stirred to action. He had heard their cries, and he was about to respond. In the midst of despair, a glimmer of hope emerged. God's plan was about to unfold, and at the center of it all was Moses. A man born of Hebrew parents, raised in Pharaoh's palace, and now a shepherd in Midian, was about to step into a destiny that would forever change the course of history. In the midst of despair, a glimmer of hope emerged. The stage was set for Moses to step into his destiny.